Hello and welcome to this channel. This is an original fiction audio image book. If you are new to the channel, you're welcome. Stick around for amazing stories, and if you like our content, please like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. The Childhood of the Earth, Chapter 4. The God of Death Threatened. On the devious star, Narayan sat in a balcony of his palatial house looking up at the twinkling stars. Omar came up from his back. He reverently bowed down to his father. Come, son. Turning around, Narayan said, Have you allocated places to all the elements on the earth? Yes, father, Omar said politely. Omar, Narayan said, build a strong shield for the earth. It still is fragile. And what? Omar asked anxiously. Anant has come, Narayan told him. Where is Anant now? Omar was excited. He's in the garden, Narayan said. Omar hurriedly went to the garden outside their home. The trees were roaming in the garden. Small plants, holding tender branches of each other, were playing roll and run. A medium-sized tree, hiding something in its branches, headed towards Omar. And showing a small dinosaur hidden in its branch, it said, Look, this has escaped from the workshop. Oh, how come this little imp is out? Omar remarked smilingly. Leave this dinosaur baby carefully in the workshop. And where is Anant? Pointing on one side, the tree indicated. He's over there. All right, you may go. And whether Anant has seen this dinosaur? No, perhaps he hasn't seen it, the tree said. Well, leave this with the care in the workshop. Saying this, Omar walked rapidly towards a tree in the garden. I don't know whether it was my mistake or not, Anant was talking to a tree. Anant resembled Narayan of childhood. According to the calculations on the earth, the height of Anant was a little less than Omar. How are you, Anant? Placing his hand on Anant's shoulder, Omar asked. Omar, my dear brother, Anant exclaimed tenderly, and they embraced each other. A nearby tree lowered its thick branches to the ground, and it took the shape of easy chairs. Thanking the tree, Omar and Anant sat on the chairs and began talking. It's my privilege, the tree said. Omar asked, Anant, how come you are here? Sure, you must have played some trick in the school of knowledge. No, brother, I have not played any trick, Anant said somberly. We were not permitted to enter the Surfew department. And you had desired to enter it? Omar asked. That's it, and out of curiosity I went into the department, Anant said. I thought my knowledge would be enhanced. As a matter of fact, I too was desirous of visiting that department, where one could learn about the future. However, being obedient, I couldn't go there, Omar said. Anand said, I didn't enter the Surfew department. It was in absolute darkness. I felt several things were lying there but could not see anything clearly. As I trudged ahead, in pale light I could see something that resembled a book on which was written the story of mankind. The story of mankind? Omar was startled. A thought flashed in his mind. Anant said, I tried hard to open the book. I couldn't open it. That fanned my curiosity. I used my yogic powers to know about the story and I reached a strange place. What I saw there were living beings that resembled us. They looked exactly like us. Oh, that means you... Omar stopped short as if Omar learned where Anant had reached. What happened, brother? Anant asked. Nothing. You may continue, Omar said. Anant continued his narration. Those creatures might be referred to as human beings. The human beings lived in small colonies. There were several different kinds of other creatures too, staying with them. We might like them, but out of all those creatures, the human beings seemed to be highly intelligent and active. This means you visited the future, Omar said. But what did you do further? Omar asked gravely. I don't think I have done anything wrong, but father scolded me, Anand said pathetically. There, where I went to in the future, I saw a child's mother and an old man's wife dying. What a pathetic scene that was. Matching gaze of Omare, Anant said. I saw the god of death present there. Anant said, O god of death, why are you doing this? Why are you taking away the life of an Innocuous? How come you are here? The god of death was amazed. Anant said, You should not take away life of any aged and affectionate husband and wife, and if at all you need to snuff out their life, the time frame between their deaths should be minimal. Also, it has been taught in the school of knowledge that for liberation of the subtle soul, death of the moral body is essential. Life of a mother of any young and prudent child should not be snatched away. Do you know how painful it is for the child? The god of death was astonished. He thought, How can I explain to Anant that he has come from the school of knowledge with half learning? Otherwise, he wouldn't talk in this manner. Bitterly, he asked Anant, Anant, what if death gobbles up somebody? Raising his voice, Anant said, I just know nothing of death. I will keep the death under my restraint. What I mean to say is, how can death gobble up any healthy, young, prudent, affectionate, and benevolent person? Those who accept their mistakes and believe in helping others just like that. Is it any way justified that your emissary of death come and pick up anybody? Saying so, Anant left the place and began surveying the earth. Suddenly, Anant felt that the weight of the study book he was carrying was becoming heavier, but he did not pay any heed to it. The god of death informed the saints and sages of the school of knowledge. Anant was busy watching the Himalayas on the earth. Suddenly, he was sucked away up in the air and disappeared, and then he was released from the air. He failed to maintain his balance and fell on the ground. The study book flung from his hands, which fell at the feet of a sage called Harit Muni. Anant realized that he had dragged him out of the futures. Anant was back on the Divya star as he stood before Harit Muni. He asked Anant to pick up the study book and follow him. Awkwardly, Anant followed him. Anant did not know where he was being led, although he intended saying something in his defense, but he was lost in several conflicting thoughts. He couldn't make up his mind. What should he say? Anant felt that he might have erred, but how and which way? Perhaps he must have breached some regulation. Without looking back at Anant, Harit Muni walked ahead. Climbing down the steps on the right, they emerged out in a garden. Suddenly, both of them disappeared. Moments later, both of them appeared in Narayan's palace. Narayan stood in the main hall of the palatial house. Seeing Harit Muni arrive, Narayan reverently greeted him. Calmly, Harit Muni said, Narayan, Anand is creating problems in the school. Having trespassed into the future, he has threatened the god of death. Having learnt of the future of the mankind, he is meddling in those affairs out of ignorance. Peacefully, Narayan listened to Harit Muni. Then he bade farewell to him with due respects. Going over to Anant, Narayan said, Anant, why should you advise on how the affairs of the nature are being managed? But Anant interrupted. Listen to me properly. Raising his voice, Narayan said, Has the subject on mankind been taught to you as yet? No, there's still time for it. Anand seemed confused. In that case, you shouldn't have interfered out of emotions, Narayan said. But those human beings look like us, Anand said innocently. Narayan fell silent for a moment and then said, Let it be. You will stay at our home for a few days. You may go to your bedroom. Reaching his bedroom, Anant placed his study books and stretched out on his bed. Anant finished what he had to say. Explaining to him, Omare said, Brother, it's only due to your hastiness that your study course has been extended. Yes, brother, now I will be careful, Anant said dejectedly. Where's our mother? Anant asked suddenly. Hearing this, Omare's face became gloomy. Lightly patting Anant's back, Omare said, Anant, mother will come back soon, but I don't know where does she go. She frequently comes and goes away. I want to go to mother, Anant said. How can I take you to her? Omare asked. Today, Anant was scolded by his father and then his mother too was not around to defend him. This saddened him. Omare understood this well. In order to change Anant's mind from the thoughts of their mother, Omare told him, Well, now that we have come, we'll stay together for a few days and I will take you to meet the earth. Both of them stood up and the tree rearranged its branches. Walking through the garden, they came over to the main hall of the palatial home. Narayan was present in the hall. Miffed at being scolded by his father, without glancing at him, Anant went to his bedroom. Narayan smiled. Offering his respect to his father, Omare too turned to go to his bedroom. Stopping him, Narayan said, Omare, I'm sure you know how naughty your brother is. Take care of your workshop. Yes, father, Omare said, but he was asking me about mother. Then Omare left for his bedroom. Lines of worry were etched on Narayan's face. He did not expect Madevi to come back soon. If she doesn't return soon, Anant will be crestfallen, Narayan thought. Thank you guys for watching this video. For more videos, you can visit our channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notifications. Comment your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll catch you in the next part. Till then, bye.